Hello, hello, hello. How's it going? Good to see you all. I just waved at the camera. It's my first day. I just realized that my WP ENV is not running, so I'm just gonna let it run. To get it started here, I'm gonna quit this thing. Oh, so today, Kev's here. Kev's here.
Kevin!
You're here, Kev. Nice to see you, friend. Okay, so I think I've got this working here. Oh, that's not the right one. This is the one that I want to see. So this should, hopefully, this should work. There we go. Yeah, today we're gonna be working on some block variations. Adam Wills Dev. Hey yo, haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back. If I can type my password, which is password. Come on now. Give me in. What the deuce is going on here? Password. Nice to have you. Glad you're back. Glad you are back. Variations. Weird. Did I already do a stream on block variations? I feel like I did, but I don't remember. Did we do one before? Well, we're doing one today because I want to. Because there's been a bunch of stuff. We just did a hallway hangout, which I think is on WordPress.tv, where we talked about where's this thing? Developer hours? No, that's not it. Let's go latest videos. I guess I got to put in my last name here. Maybe we can find it that way. Power block variation. So this was one that we just did. I'm gonna drop that in there. We went into whether or not we can remove inspector on this toolbar. Oh, and then we turned into did we start variations and then that turned into format stuff? I think so. Okay, so we're gonna do real variations today. But this is a hallway hangout that myself and Nick Diego did, where we talked a bit about the basics of a variation. There's also a really great article on the developer blog, which there we go, an introduction to block variations. So there's a lot of information out there. So I wanted to spend some time kind of going through building out some variations. Titus in Atlantis, you added this comment with adding a variation to no one can read that. This comment here about adding a variation to embed power by, which would be a nice one to see. I think I could do that, but I don't have any idea what power by is. So if is that something that's easily put together? That would be a cool one, because embeds are great for that. Yeah. So yeah, I think we'll just kind of get started doing this. So there's a couple of really great articles and things there to take a look at, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to close my audio MIDI setup, which is running for whatever reason. Okay, so I'll clear this. So I wanted to is this all up to date? What did I just do here? Oh, my ENV. Okay, sorry. I need to update this to include plugins that exist. Okay, cool. So it's just the standard embed. Like, there's nothing funky that you have to do in there. Yeah, my notification was late again. Oh, yeah, when I send my notifications out, I delay yours by 5 minutes. Corey, welcome to the stream, Corey. I wanted to share something that I put together. I don't know if I did this last time, but what I have done in my template, I have added some stuff to my template. And I want to talk about this because this just shows how cool the create block is. Phil's here. Anyways, so my block developer cookbook repo is available. You can absolutely go and steal it. So this is the mise en place, which I just learned that phrase. It makes me sound super smart, but my whole thing about chefs and this is a cookbook, so everything's a recipe, and the varying level. Anyways, mise en place means like getting all of your ingredients ready, and that's what this kind of is right now. So yeah, but please grab it and steal it. And everything in the right place. Yes, everything in the written place. Yeah. Anyways, what was I doing? Why was I talking about this? Oh, right. Okay, so this uses PNPM to manage all the sort of the dependencies, because I don't want to have a billion different build processes and everything. So one thing that I found is that when you run the create block package to create a new block, or in our case a new plugin, because every block is its own, every sort of recipe is its own plugin, just so we can keep all the dependencies and everything managed inside that particular plugin on its own. But one of the things I don't like about this, well, I shouldn't say that. One of the great things about the scripts package is that it will automatically install the WP scripts as a dependency, and then it will add it, and then it will actually npm install it, which is wonderful, except in my case, because I don't want that to happen. What I want PNPM to manage that. So what I've done is in my template, I've made some changes so that I basically get all the same goodies, but don't have to wait for it to install. And you can do that with there's a flag for this called it's WP scripts. So if you were to run create block npx, like if we were to do something like this, right? Let me just get rid of all this. You can just all wait while I hold down the delete key. Okay, so test block, right? So if I wanted to run this, I can say, what is it? No WP. I have to look that up. I think it's a flag for no WP scripts. Let me just double check that. Create block. Oh, didn't spell that right at all. Didn't spell that right one bit. So in here, so we got options, jumped out of the options. So we've got like no WP scripts, right? And you pass that flag, and what it'll do is it just won't even try to install it, which is great, right? So this is the template version of that. So what I've done is I've turned that off. Now by turning that off, it won't actually add it to your list of dependencies. It won't add any of the scripts. So then there's another. So in the template defaults, there is a property called custom package JSON. Yeah, so there's so then what I'm doing is basically just appending all of this stuff that would have been added to the package JSON, and then I'm letting npm manage the actual install and do all that. So it just saves a step. Flex perception. This only works with WP and V now, though, right? What about local? Sorry, what are we talking about? What only works with env or WP now? The custom templates for create block, they are development environment agnostic. It doesn't matter. It will work wherever you want it to work. I use local a lot on sort of like my main Twitch repo. I'm using local, and I use the how to not make it download the scripts every time. No, you can just tell it not to do it, either in line with this flag, or you can create a template, which is what I've done, and pass WP scripts false. Now, if you want to integrate, oh wait, you can scaffold a plugin / block in any environment. That doesn't matter. But are you talking about, because there is another flag for env, are you talking about that flag? Because you can pass that flag or the template equivalent and have it auto install WP env. If you're talking about that, then yes, that only works with env, and it doesn't work with WP now yet. But that doesn't really matter, because if you have a template, you can literally add whatever dependencies you want. There is actually this, I'm hacking this a bit, because I have to do it inside of custom package JSON, because with this being false, it won't actually add anything to, because there's another one that's like what is it, npm, I think it's dev dependencies, like that. So you can add things in there, and that'll do it. But for whatever reason, when this is false, this doesn't get added. So that's why I'm using the custom package JSON. Flex, let me know if I've actually answered your question. Cookbook will have a bunch of short snippets. It'll have short snippets. It'll have long snippets, depending on what we're working on. It will be more like for example, the transforms is. Medium snippets. It'll be medium snippets. So like the transforms is probably like one of the simplest ones, right? Like there's not a lot going on in here. This will be probably, it's gonna be time based. I'm gonna probably time this one out at like 15 to 20 minutes, right? Well, I'm adding you mean like this conversation that we're having now? Big, long, and pointless? Is that what's happening right now, Kev? Oh, the Lup. Thanks for the follow, the Lup. The Lup. That's a great name. Welcome to the stream. And I hit a follower goal. Oh, it's been a good day. No, there would be no 470. Yes, that's 420 for old people. Yeah. Hey, look, some WP code. Yeah, you come to the right place. We got some WP code. So thanks for joining and welcome. And and Kevin, I agree with you. Every recipe site on the planet has got like, this is the reason why I had my children. And then they're like, oh, and they like chicken. So here's a recipe. Yeah, it's stupid. I get it. No, it's going to be very like, I'm a man of lots of words, but little typing. So you all know I can't type. Anyways, Flex, back to what you're saying. This is always confusing. Sorry to sidetrack. So for example, I have a Gutenberg examples installed, then I create one block that installs the script. And then if I pass no scripts flag, will not install again within that install. Yes. So no scripts. So the no scripts only works if you're using the create block package in plugin mode, meaning it's going to create a plugin. If you use it in the no plugin mode to just say add a secondary block, that won't do anything. But it will not install it. Every time you run it and it installs a plugin, it will install the scripts flag. But if you pass that it will install the scripts package. It'll add it to the package JSON and install it. If you pass no scripts, it will not add it to the package JSON, and it will not try to install any dependencies. Does that make sense? Translation related updates coming to Gutenberg. I heard something vague but couldn't find details. Might be a rumor. I don't know. Flex, let me know if that's answered your question. I'm happy to get into that in a bit more detail. And Kevin, I don't know what you're talking about, but a little more clear. Okay, well, I can make it more clear if I feel like I'm not quite answering your question. But if I'm not, just reach out, just ping me, like DM me on the Twitters or the X, whatever the hell it's called now, and or on WordPress thing. When he's plugin mode, I think a couple of blocks. Yeah. Good plugin mode use case. Yeah, when I think using plugin mode, I think a couple of blocks. Yeah, so plugin mode, in the context of create block, plugin mode is basically going to scaffold everything outside of this source directory. It's going to give you a source directory. It's going to give you editor config, right? It'll add all of this stuff. And then it will also add all your block stuff, right? But if you go no plugin mode, it will just add all your block stuff in whatever directory you run that in. And so that the no plugin mode basically basically skips all of the packaged JSON stuff, right? And yeah, so that's what it is. So in your case, you would run create block and call it whatever, weather app, and then you would run create block again with no plugin mode flag to add a second block for your weather, your other weather block. The translation stuff, translation is phase 4, I think. Translation is phase 4 for the WordPress project. We just wrapped up phase 2, which was basically like the site editor and all of that. And phase 3 is going to be collaborative editing, which is super exciting. So like Google Docs style, multiple people editing, right? And then phase 4 of the project is translation. That's a massive undertaking. I think that might not be what you're talking about. So Vanilla.js would be no plugin mode. No. Vanilla.js is, think of plugin mode and no plugin mode as what files get added, because you can have plugin mode and no plugin mode, both with a Vanilla.js example and with a JSX example. So like if you, there's templates that you can pass, and those templates may have vanilla JavaScript, they may not have vanilla JavaScript, but that is sort of a separate thing from plugin mode. Plugin mode and no plugin mode determine what files get added. Let's put it that way. Does that make sense? So plugin mode will give you all of the files to register a WordPress plugin plus a block, and what you're trying to tell? Okay, and sorry, and no plugin mode will just give you block files, but whatever those block files are determined by the template that's being used. I'm sorry, that's confusing, but it is. That's kind of how it works. Any chance you can share the Node npm version? I'm trying to test the latest version of Gutenberg, but compiling errors. Are you trying to build the latest version of Gutenberg? Because if you are, there's an nvm-rc in the root of the repository. So just run that. Just run nvm use. I believe they just bumped it to 18. Yeah, it is a bit confusing because you've got templates. So your templates, let me show you. So I built a template in here, right? So when you define a template, you tell the template where the files are that represent the block and where the files are that represent the plugin. And then inside your templates, so you see my plugin files has got editor config, ESLint, getignore. This will be the name of the plugin.php, a readme file, and a webpack config.js file. So those are the sort of that's the stuff that sits in the root of the plugin. And then my block files are in my block directory. And this is like edit.js, index, all the regular block files, right? So your template determines the contents of those files and what files are actually in there, right? So when you pass the template flag, you can point it to a repo. So for example, like what I'm doing right here, I'm passing a template right there, right? So the template determines what files are included, what block files and what plugin files are included, and also what's in them. But the plugin versus no plugin mode determine if some of those files are included. I hope that makes more sense. I don't know. The LUP, what is going on? Yeah, well, yeah, but a package, it's not up to date. I need to dig more. That doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry. Have you checked out the repository? If you checked out the repository, do an npm use, npm install, you'll be good. Correct. It doesn't create the plugin folder with latest version from trunk. Yep. So if you checked out latest version from trunk, have you npm installed? Okay. And it's what version of Node are you running right now? (1620). Okay, yeah. Are you using NVM? Okay, so then just say NVM use 18. I would switch to 18, delete your package.json, the lock file, delete your node directory, and then run npm install. That's the RMRF of node development. Cleaning up right now. Yeah, switch to the because they just updated the version of Node to whatever the version of Node is. I can't remember. Let me look. Here's Gutenberg, no upstream. I don't know if I've updated this recently, but let's see what that's gonna do for me. NVMRC 16. Maybe it's 16 now. I thought they bumped it to 18. Maybe I'm wrong. I must be wrong then. They must have done. Sorry. So it's 16. That's my mistake. But if you just run nvm use, it'll just take this file and it'll give you the one you need. So it should be 16, right? So if you're running 18 or 16, it's weird. I don't know why it's doing that. Maybe just set it to. I have seen sometimes I have seen minor issue like minor versions cause problems. So maybe use 16.0.0. Do that. Like nvm use. Here, I'm going to do the same thing here. So I'm going to set this. I'm using 16.17.1 and I'm going to go npm install. And oh, standby. Hold on. I apparently didn't actually pull that down. That's weird. There we go. Okay. It's weird, man. There we go. Okay, so nvm use. What's it gonna set me to? 16 npm install. Yeah, I feel like there's something else going on. What's npmrc? Do you have any sort of like global npmrcs or anything like that? Any global node settings that would mess this up? It's gonna let this run in the background. Yeah, we are getting pretty deep in JS today. Sorry, we will get to variations though. I promise. We will get there. We will get there. The LUP. I feel like. Do I know you from somewhere? Do I know you from somewhere outside of this stream? Now your username seems very familiar to me for some reason, but it could be just because we just had a conversation about it. Anyways, all right, let's get back in. I'm gonna let that just kind of run in the background. It's probably gonna take forever. Did we meet in Porto? Yeah. So everything just installed for me. So you could try downgrading to 16.17.1. You could try that. So we could definitely try that. Anyways, I'm gonna npm run. Sure. I don't know. Let's look. I haven't run build. What's going on here? If you're trying to work locally too, you're probably gonna want to do npm run dev instead of build. I mean, that's a minor detail. So it's it looks like it's working, but I'm gonna have to move on here shortly. So it's just sitting there. So let's do. I'm gonna run dev and see what happens because this should do a whole bunch of job. I haven't done any building on this since they kind of added this Lerna stuff. Have you gotten this far? Because if you're not getting this far, then you've got other issues at play here, I would imagine. Yeah, so I'm building. It looks like it's gonna build. So unless there's anything super weird, I'm just gonna move this off the screen, and if something else happens, I don't know, let me know, I guess, if it's building. So it crashes before the build completes. All right, you know what? We're just gonna see this through. I'm at 65, 66. We come this far, friends. This is, see how this goes. Coffee. Gotta love the coffee. Yep. So it's working for me. It's in watch mode and it's running. So now this is dev. This is the npm run dev command, but it seems to be working so far. So I would maybe try changing your minor version of, yeah, see, it's building. It's doing everything it's supposed to be doing. Yeah. So it's totally you and you're on your own. Works for me. Anyways, okay, cool. But glad we could try to help a little bit. All right. So anyways, enough of this stuff. What am I doing here? All right. So we talked about that. Okay, great. So now we're going to do variations. We're only half an hour in and we're just starting work. So what I've actually done also in my theme is not my theme, in my template is I have a variation in my template that I'm calling plugin that I'm using to be able to create plugins that just enqueue a JavaScript file that don't have a block, because that's what a lot of this stuff is. So in my package JSON, you'll see that there's a plugin command. I'm just going to run it and npm run plugin. I'm going to pass the name of the block that I want it to, or the plugin that I want it to be. This is going to be block variations. Bam. And I'm going to say no. I don't know why I just wanted to autocorrect that. So it's going to do some stuff for me. You'll notice it's going to be really slow. It's going to be really slow for whatever reason. There we go. And so it created the block JSON, which is an unfortunate side effect, but this is a create block package, not a create single file you want to enqueue package. It's added a couple of things in there. So if I go in here, I can say block variations. You can see what it did. So I've got all the stuff that I want. I've got a source file that just has basically a single JavaScript. I can delete this because I actually don't need it. And then in my thing, I'm actually having it, clearly my template needs to be updated. So this is going to be variations. I'll call it block variations. I'm going to change my template right now before I forget. And then in my block, we're going to put slug. So I'm putting this. That's not it. That's not it. You bastard. And here. We're going to put slug in here. There we go. Okay, so now this is going to enqueue this file and it's going to try to find it. So if I go npm run build or start, now this will go into start mode. So you see I have, why are you being like that? Failure to load. Oh, better look here. Oh, okay. That's something I have to fix in my template. So what was happening there, I'll explain what was happening. So the template just takes the slug and puts it in, but we need to wrap it in some quotes. I guess single quotes would be fine. Because I put a hyphen in the thing. And so that's what was breaking that. So if I run my start command again, this should work. The joys of a template. There we go. So now npm has handled all the dependencies and it's doing everything it needs to do, and it's running. It's all of my plugins, all the build processes that are in this plugins directory are all running. So if I make any changes, things will happen, and it'll be wonderful. All right. So let's go into block variations, source block variations, and here we need to import. Let's go over to the docs. I'm just going to look at the basic docs here. So in our documentation, we got this, right? And we need to import register block variation from block. So let's do that. We'll go import register block variations from WordPress blocks. That's what I want. Hello. Then we can just call register block variation, and then we need to pass it a bunch of stuff. I think it's a string, and I think it's an object. Pretty sure. Let's look. So super basic variations are, what's an example? Here's a variation. So what's it? So we'll do a variation on, what is this? If you want to apply initial blue quote. So this would be the quote block. So we'll go core quote, and then we need to add a number of this stuff. So what we can do, I'm just going to steal this. This is essentially the object that goes in here. So I need to import that too. Import. Yeah, that's what I want. Right. So we have. Let me turn this one off for now. So if we come over here, where is that? I go to my posts. All posts. Oh, I already have a variation post in here. And okay, we'll get rid of this. And oh, there's Kev. Hi, Kev. Get your face out of here, Kevin. Always in my face. What did I call this thing? Blue? Wait, what did I call this? Hold on. Name is Blue. Kevin! And Kevin is right. Icon. Okay, so. Oh. I may also. Oh no, do I have to restart this again? Ugh. So I'm using WP-ENV, and I have not figured out a good way to be able to add blocks or like add more plugins for this. I tried just basically doing like telling it that the plugins directory but it didn't work. So what I actually have to do now is restart. I gotta figure that out. While we're waiting, did we meet in Porto? Did we meet? Did we meet? And I just don't remember. Or you didn't introduce yourself as the LUP. So sorry, I'm just waiting for this to get set up here. And don't think so. Okay, fine. Well, are you going to go to WordCamp Europe this year in Torino? Don't know why that's wanting me to do that, but it is. Because if you do, maybe we'll meet. I don't know. Andre Lupu rings a bell. Lupu. It does not, unfortunately. Sorry. That was my first WordCamp post-COVID, and I was like blah, all over the place. So I met so many awesome people. I'm sure if I met you, I'm sure you were awesome. If I didn't meet you, I'm still sure you're awesome. That's just what we're going with. Okay, so let's see. Now we should have the stupid plugin. There we go. Our stupid plugin is working. Okay, let's go back to posts. Now that it's working, we shouldn't need to mess with that again. I gotta find a better way of doing it. Okay, so if I just go blue quote, boom. Okay, so this is, get this out of here. So we have, the title is blue quote, the name is blue, right? We'll do that. It's gonna add a color. It's gonna add a class name. So what does this do? So let's wait for that to update. Oh, it's running slow today. And there's nothing going on there. Format quote. So okay, so let's look. We should have some sort. This is not very sexy. So this is a style blue quote. So we would need a class in there now to basically style that correctly. So that's one variation. It's not too cool, but if you were to add like another, I need a link for that. What's that? What was that thing called? What was that thing called? The buy? What you call it? Help me, Titus, where are you? Titus, help. There we go. What is this thing called? Power by? A power by example URL? Is that what I want? So just like get samples for power by? Yeah, okay. I don't know. Okay. Well, let's look at what else we got variations. So there's a whole bunch of options here for the variations. Maybe we should just go through some of them. So name and title are pretty straightforward. Description is also pretty straightforward. So this is the category that it sits in. So we haven't really updated any of that stuff. We don't really need to. Keywords for searching. An icon, so we can change the icon for this. Attributes are pretty important. That's where we're sort of overriding some of these things. Let me get rid of that. So, like, maybe we could do, you know what? Let's do like, this is, what's the attribute for, I wonder if we can do this. So if I take, so attributes, variation, okay. I wonder if you could do like a paragraph. Let's do like a paragraph variation or paragraph, right? And we're going to call this, whatever, pre-filled content, context, no content, Power BI business intelligence, instead of Power BI. Paragraph with some text. And if I add content, because I think content is the actual, does this work? And we'll do this, and then oh right, I'm going to put a namespace in here, and I'll explain why I'm doing this in a second, because Twitch test, okay, and then because we need to be able to determine whether or not, let me get rid of this, whether or not this is the active, whether or not is active is a thing or not. So is active can be a function. Where are we here? Is active can be a function. Where is that? Is default is active. So it can be a function like this, but it can also just be, it can also just check for an attribute that exists, and if that exists in here. Now this is going to be a little bit strange. Like, we're basically just checking to see if namespace exists, right? So if it has namespace and content, or let's just do namespace. And what is happening here? And that, okay. Okay, cool. So we'll take a look. If you add attribute and variation, does it override all existing block attributes or add to the block attributes list? That's a great question. It will add. It doesn't do anything with existing block attributes. I mean, if you like this is adding a new one. So there is no namespace attached to this. So this will just be a new attribute. But this is an attribute, I believe, that is actually used to save the content. So this should, I'm hoping this will allow us to insert a block with this stuff pre-filled, right? If it might not work, but we'll see. So let's go back over here, and I'm just gonna refresh that and wait 50 minutes for this to update. Okay, come on, get there. All right, here we go. So what do they call this? Wait, what did I call this thing? Paragraph with some text. I'm gonna put that in there. There we go. So what that did, so that we've created a variation now of the paragraph block that has pre-entered content. So if you wanted to I don't know, if you wanted to have, like, if you had an FAQ or something, or if you have, I don't know what you use this for, but there's other things too. We could do placeholder, right? So if you wanted to change the placeholder, that would work as well. So placeholder is an attribute for this block. I'm gonna delete this one because I don't want this one. Delete this one. All right, so we're gonna go paragraph with some text. So see, the placeholder is now been updated. This is really simple stuff. But say you wanted to have like a certain type of validation on a paragraph block. So we could tie this. So like we did a stream where we were trying to take button blocks and make sure that they were actually filled out before they were used. So say you wanted to have a particular type of paragraph block, you know, you could create a variation like this that adds, you know, some more information, another class name and stuff. I'm just thinking about this is active, the namespace thing, because if we did another one, right, and we added another one like this, I think it might get confused to know which one it is. We need to be a bit more specific. This is an interesting. Right, so these do two placeholder. So these do two different things, right? So this one is a variation of the paragraph block that gives us some pre-filled content. This one gives us a different placeholder. Now they're both using isActive is both for the namespace here, right? Sorry. Let me rephrase that. The variation is being determined as active if it has a namespace attribute. So I am wondering what's going to happen here. So if I okay, so what block is this? Let's delete this. So if I go like this and I go paragraph with some text. So it's getting confused. And can I add, is it even paragraph? So it's not even finding it. Okay, cool. So weird. Okay, so now this is, I believe, where the function comes into play. So if we remember over here, it can take a function, right? So what we're going to want to do is get a bit more prescriptive with this, because this is just saying, oh, does this have a namespace attribute? Cool, then it must be active, even though it is the one we inserted is actually getting different stuff, right? So we're going to do a function in here, I think, and I believe we can just use this example. Let's just grab the whole example. We'll do that. So it's going to get block attributes and variation attributes, and we're going to say if block attributes provided namespace equals this namespace. I wonder if that's all we have to do. I wonder if that will work. I'm wondering if we have to actually do a check to make sure that it's the actual namespace as well, like that specific namespace. I'll grab that URL in a secondo, my friend. So okay, so let's go paragraph with. Okay, so now it's showing up. It's showing up as two different variations. It wasn't even showing up before. So let's put some paragraph with some text in. Okay, that worked. Paragraph. We got the right one with a placeholder, and that worked as well. So we should probably add this for both, because I wonder what would happen if it gets source order is changed. Let's see. I don't know if that'll matter, but let's have a look here. So you can see the isActive is definitely a pretty important thing, especially when you're getting into multiples, right? So paragraph. Let's see, paragraph. Different placeholder, okay, and paragraph with some text. All right, still worked. I would still probably go in and make sure that this is the same for both, right? We want to make sure that so yeah, all right, hold on. I want to do something here. I want to see what these are. I don't, because like my initial my initial thought was to do something like return block attributes namespace and then equals, sorry, not that, equals, and then the actual namespace, which I added here, right? Like that's what I was thinking should happen. But I'm just wondering if we look at what these are, what actually happens. I'm just gonna update that. Inspect. that in. So if I refresh this, we should get a little, oh, come on now. Okay. Whoa. So what was this? Oh, that's the allowed formats thing. So content, namespace, get drop cap. Oh, I see. Okay, so does this work? And namespace switch to. Weird. So I don't see namespace in the block attributes, right? Block attributes namespace is equal to variation attributes dot namespace, but I don't see it in either one. Well, I see it here, I should say. Weird, man. So I'm a little unclear as to how that actually works. Content. No content was a placeholder. I feel like that's probably closer to what I actually want to do. Interesting. Let's read this here. The function accepts block attributes and variation attributes, which can be used to determine if variation is active. In the embed block, the primary differentiator is the provider name slug. So if you want to determine if the YouTube embed variation, you can do something like this.
Oh.
So I would think that this is probably a more correct way of doing it. Something like that. Now what have I done here? Because I've broken that. That's what I feel like that would be the right way of doing it, but block attributes doesn't. I think it might need to be variation attributes like this. Let's see if this works. Interesting. Now I'm just playing around with this, but because namespace only exists in the variation, so we need to check to see if the variation matches that particular namespace. So what is this thing called? Paragraph with different placeholder. Oh, they're both saying that. Okay, well, we're getting somewhere. So paragraph with different placeholder. Let's see what that does. Huh. Oh, funny. Okay, so now it's now. Okay, so now I'm setting to match this. So I'm checking to see if that is that, and that is that, and I'm going to refresh this. So I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to figure it out, friends. Placeholder. That says content, eh? It's weird though. Does it work? Does it work the other way? The namespace. I don't think that. I don't know if that works. Let's see. Let's see here. Shouldn't be the yeah. That's just a regular. Okay, so it's not even finding that. So I'm just looking over here. So this should be my variation. That is that. So this doesn't work. So let's make it work. Let's figure out. So the is active. If it has namespace, so we should have. Right. So that should be the namespace. If the namespace is equal to, like Twitch test 2, because that should be the namespace right there. Right. Refresh that. No, which one was that? It was the pre-filled placeholder, right? Pre-filled. So this is the pre-filled placeholder. So this is paragraph with different placeholders. So that's correct. And what does this say? That also says paragraph with different placeholder. What? But that's not what it is. So if variation attributes namespace is equal to Twitch test, I'm gonna use the smiley thing. It's not getting that one, eh? It is just not getting this one. Let me try paragraph with some text. So it still shows as the placeholder. Why does it show as the placeholder? Well, no, they're not different. Well, they are. But they're variations on the same block. So look, if I do paragraph with placeholder, you see we've got the title here, and we've got paragraph with some text, which I just changed the act. If you're just checking variation attributes, it'll always be true, right? Because attributes is the current block, and variation attributes is attributes of this. Oh my God, I think you're right. I think you might be right. Hold on. So this doesn't actually have an attribute of namespace. Okay, let's weird because that seems to. Let me check something real quick. Let me check something. Is this is gonna drive me nuts if this is a source order issue? They're different variations, but we need to be able to determine which variation is being shown. This is the, with some text. Oh yeah. Okay. So it is source order, which is super fun. I'm just gonna hide that. Okay, so, okay, I'm gonna just, we're gonna do a function here. We're gonna see what we can figure out. So I want to console.log block attributes and variation attributes. So for this first one, So I guess the other way that we could do it, there's another way that we could definitely do this. We could say, I bet we could do it like this, by returning, because what we need to do is compare the current block with the variation, right? So if we say, if variation is, this is always going to be true. So if we go what block attributes dot content equals variation dot content, I wonder if that'll do it. I think the source order is just an issue because it's not actually figuring this out. So what is it? This is paragraph with some text. What does this one say? Paragraph with different placeholder. Okay, so that's what we need to be doing here. We need to take what, Corey, you were totally right there about the, so we need to compare some attribute in here with some attribute in here. And if they're the same, that's the correct one, right? So this will be a problem because if we do this, will that work? Let's look. Does this work? I don't know. Let's refresh this and just see what it says here. It'll work when we insert it, but as soon as it doesn't get inserted, it might just be, see now it thinks it's a different placeholder. Okay, so that's probably a thing that we shouldn't do, right? Making odd to a shortcut by just giving the name of the attribute instead of a callback. Yes, you can, but with the issue that we were running into was that if, like, okay, so if this is like whatever, what are we gonna call this? Pre-filled content, right? And we do that. If sorry, what am I doing here? The issue is if the same block, so we were doing that with namespace, but the problem was both of these variations have namespace, right? So it's not about what namespace is. It's just does it have namespace. So then it was getting confused as to which variation it was, right? I think. We can try that again. It was just an array, namespace, right? So, like, let me just hide this. I'm pretty sure that this is going to get confused again. Because both variations have a namespace attribute, but the values of those attributes are different. Now, if this calls me a liar, Corey, I'm gonna be upset. So this is it. This just thinks it's a paragraph, and this just thinks it's a paragraph. So that's not even working. Why is that not working? Looks like it worked. Right. So I can see how the namespace thing might not be the best way of doing it. So so this will actually get us back to what we want to do, I think. So this is the different placeholder, and this is still the different placeholder. Because it's based on that. So if we check that the pre-filled, like if we check for an existence of something, the problem is content's going to change. So if we use pre-filled content like this, right? Now what am I doing? Right, the what though? What? Hold on. Where are you seeing that? Oh, because yes, but there's no namespace in. There's no namespace in the. Yeah. Well, we tried doing that, right? I'm gonna just delete this one for now. I'm gonna hide this. So if we just do namespace, I'm gonna get rid of that. Right. So we say is active, and we put an array, and we just pass namespace. And I don't care about the content, right? It's comparing. It says it's doing shorthand of basically the above. The problem is this doesn't seem to work. It works maybe with a single variation, but when you have a secondary variation, things start to fall apart. Which variation did I just put in there? That's the pre-filled content one, right? So it's not even fine. Oh, wait. Is it gone? What's going on here? Paragraph with some text. See, it's not telling me that this is actually that variation, because namespace is not in the variation. Sorry, in the block attributes. It's only in the variation attributes. But so if it's checking against the two things, like if we do this, right, and we check it against placeholder, I'm wondering if that'll work. Which is really weird, because in my advanced query loop, I'm using namespace and it's just working fine. So that's working there. Yeah, it's a little bit confusing. Yeah, so this is multiple. So this is exactly sort of what I'm talking about here, right? So, so I think having doing this way is easy if there is just a single variation for that particular thing. So yeah, so that's why I think having this function is a little bit, it's more verbose, right? So this is checking to see if the placeholder of this attribute matches the placeholder of the whatever one, right? Yeah. So did we get it working like this? I thought we got it working like this. Let's check. So we can't use that. This namespace doesn't even seem to be added. I guess maybe namespace, these attributes probably need to be the attributes of the actual block to make this work properly, right? So we can check the placeholder here, because the placeholder is going to be that, right? And the content actually doesn't, placeholder text. So this should just work. I kind of want to get into query loop variations here in a minute too, because they're pretty heavy duty. But I'll see about doing the embed for the by thing. I'm gonna get rid of this. I'm gonna delete that. I'm gonna delete this, and then what do we got here? What we got here? We got paragraph with some text, custom placeholder text. So that is the correct one. I spelled it wrong, of course. But and even if we change this, it still becomes correct because the value of placeholder doesn't change. And so it's always going to be, this placeholder text is always going to be that. Okay, let's move along here. Where is it linked for the Power BI thing? There we go. Playground Power BI embed. Select report, sure. Yeah, use sample. And I just want a URL. Is that what I want? What does that do? Does something. Okay, so let's do an embed. Okay, so we'll grab a little embed here. Slow embed. And do register block variation. Be core embed, right? Just probably use the example that they have on the here. Name is custom embed attributes provider slug name custom. Sure. So this is going to be what is the thing called? Power BI. Power BI. Power BI. Kind of, it's going to be Power BI. I don't know. Is it my Power BI? Let's see. Come on now. I'm gonna get rid of it. I'm just gonna delete this. There's too much going on here. All right, so deleted, delete. So if I go Power BI, put that in there, and I put the URL in. So I have the URL. Where's that? Copy code. Put that in there. Embed. Just pop it into an iframe. What's it do here? Oh, we might have to register some stuff here. This is telling me there's a 404 error here. Responses, message, embed. Okay. So what we're going to need to do is register an embed, I guess. I don't think I've ever done that. Add embed provider. Let's see. So where do we do that? what action do I? Where should I run that though? Okay. Maybe there's a better. Oh, do we know if PowerBI supports OEmbed? Because otherwise we're getting into some madness here. Does PowerBI support OEmbed? Oh my god, embed. Oh, add PowerBI to OEmbed filter. What is this? This has been closed. Okay, so where am I gonna add that? Let's go back here. I don't think I've ever added an OEmbed provider like anywhere. So I'm gonna just copy this code, and I don't know where I'm gonna put it, but we'll put it somewhere. We'll put it right in here in the block variations. I don't know what action that should run on. Let's try that. And what's the URL that I was using? I have it in my clipboard here. PlaygroundPowerBI.com. Sure. What's the second parameter? What's that? Hello? URL to the OEmbed provider. Okay. So I don't know what to put in here. Maybe it just needs to go. Let's look. Is that an actual URL? Must be. Well, I don't really know. I don't know what this is going to do. Okay, well, who knows? Who knows? Let's just see. All right, let's reload. I don't think this is gonna work, but yeah, it didn't work. Okay, sorry, it cannot be embedded. So, well, while you can definitely do this with a variation, there is clearly some other stuff behind the scenes. I just don't know enough about PowerBI. I don't know if it supports OEmbed. If it doesn't support OEmbed, you'll probably have to get into the details of what was the other thing? Register the register the handler part, because. Yeah, and I don't want to do all that. That's a ton of work. Because I'm lazy. I'm a lazy developer. But yeah, that's how you do it, most likely. So I don't know, Titus, are you guys doing that? Right, so easier if OEmbed. It's way easier if OEmbed is supported because it just works, right? You just have to register the provider. But if it doesn't work, you should be able to run this function to deal with it. To deal with the sort of the handler part, right? Because that's what's failing here, is that WordPress's OEmbeds, like the registered OEmbeds, it doesn't know what to do with this stuff. You need to tell it to make it work. I don't know, actually. because this is dropping it into an iframe. So you're going to need to, yeah. We didn't go that far. We build our own custom set of embed blocks. Yeah, I mean, so you can do that too. It would, I mean, I don't know what the benefits would be one over the other. Depending on the, it looks like there's probably not a ton of stuff that you have to deal with here, but yeah. So it is certainly possible to do, but beyond the time that I have for today. So let's do a query loop variation. How do we feel about that? Core query, I think. So the query loop variation has a lot more going on, and there are definitely some caveats around how this works. I just actually tweeted something today about it, because there are, well, first of all, there's an entire tutorial on extending the query loop block on the docs here. So you can look at that. So you can see that there's a lot of stuff going on here, right? There's all the regular stuff, but and our attributes, there's a lot more. So all of these attributes are available to us, right? But the one thing, and so they're using this my variation name to manage the attributes. Now, chances are you're not going to have too many query loop variations with a namespace. And then they're checking to see if it works. We're using this. So this is like another. This is another function where they're checking that the namespace is equal to mine variation and post type is book. So this is what they're doing here, which is interesting the way they're doing that. That is interesting. Right, so they're checking that the variation matches the variation that's been defined up here in a constant somewhere, and that the post type is for book, right? Sorry. But they're also doing it this way to check. So one thing that you have to keep in mind though when you're doing one of these, so we can just do this real basic query loop variation. I keep jumping around here, sorry. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically give it a namespace. So in our attributes, we're going to go, wait. I'm going to get a name and title in this. Wait, just name and a title right now. So what they've been doing is const doing it. Sure, we'll do that. Right, and then we need some attributes in here. So we'll just do this for now. Right, and just hide all this stuff, right? So, and scope. The scope becomes a little bit important a bit later, but so that this is just going to register a block for us. Now, let's just see what that looks like. It should just be. You know what? Sorry, stand by. Get rid of this. I'm gonna clear all this stuff out again because it's annoying. And so I'm gonna go. Wait, what did I call that thing? It should be called books list. Why is it not? Oh, is it? No, books list. Why am I not saying books list? Wait, did I do the wrong? Sorry. Core query? Is that not what I put? Register block creation. Core query. What? Oh, I think I need an is active here. I'm gonna steal my is active. I'm gonna steal the is active that they have out there. Sorry, my bad. Okay, where is it? Put that in there just for now. Should be in here. Oh, scope should be outside of that too, I think. I don't think scope goes in there. Yeah, it goes outside of attributes at the same level as everything else. Okay, so we got an active nature. Okay, so let's see if this works. There's a thing about query loop variations that you have to keep in mind, is that when it's trying to get the attributes working, books list, right? So when we hit this point, we can choose between some templates that are available, or some patterns that are available via the theme, or you can start blank and you can pick some of these. So what I've so let's look at add date and time. So this has got those ones. How do I replace that? I forget how to do that. What's it here? No. I thought there was a way to replace this. Oh yeah, replace. So we can pick different patterns. So here's one that's got 4, right? So we got 1, 2, 3. There's only 3. How many posts do I have in here? Let me check and see how many posts I got. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 posts. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. So I should be able to come back in here, and I should be able to do this. Nope, that one. Replace the thing. So I want to get one that's got more. So there should be 4 posts here, and there is. Okay, cool. So what I want to demonstrate by doing that is this. If I come in here and I set my per page to 2, I think what's going to happen, this should only show 2 posts, but I think what actually ends up happening is, if we insert the books list and I choose, let's start blank, and I go date and title. See, it's showing me more. It's showing me 1, 2, 3 now, and that is because this actually inherits a template, right? And so the same as this one. So I've set it to, what did I set it to? 3. And so this might actually respect that, which is pretty cool. No, 2. So it's not respecting it at all. It's getting it from this template, the query attributes, and that can be pretty confusing. Like if you want to change the sort order, right? What the deuce? Over here. What the deuce? Yeah, what the deuce? Whoever did that. So you can so this is newest to oldest, oldest to newest. It's being very slow with its querying, right? So to fix that, what you can do is you can add inner blocks, right? So there's an inner blocks property in here, which is just an array of inner blocks. I'm just going to steal something that they have it here, right? And there is a whole thing in here, so you can just grab all these, and like you can create your own template, right? And basically just insert it like this. So now when you insert this variation, it's going to create this template for you automatically, and it'll start to respect the things that you've defined in your query. Just gonna let that reload. Oh boy. So let's go to our books list. Oops. Let's go to our books list. Boom, boom. And don't you call me a liar, books list. You super slow querying books list. What the heck is taking so long here? Am I getting errors or something? Failed to 404. No. Nope. Nope. Network. What the crap is going on? Place. Cancel. Wow, it's all pending. So weird. Huh, okay. Well, let's just get rid of this. I think my computer's having a hard day here. Okay. These are all pending requests. Man, it's taking a long time to get them all. Okay. All right, so we're gonna go books list. weird. This is weird. I don't think it has anything to do with what we're doing here. Did I do that wrong? Let me just grab the whole inner blocks thing just to make sure I didn't bork this up somehow. So I'm getting the pagination, I'm getting the no results, the core post template. Let's just remove some of these things. Super weird. Okay, this isn't an issue. Usually when you see this, it means there's something going on with the query. That's usually what the problem is. But there's no reason why that would be an issue. So let's just clear all this stuff out. We're gonna go into networks. I'm gonna unlock my books list. Insert that. These are all pending requests. They're taking a heck of a long time. I'm gonna update. These are the posts. Okay, so that is working. That is working. It's just not displaying on this side, which is weird. Like, why? I don't know what is happening here. I might, you know what? I'm gonna restart my local. I think it's my local. So, anyways, the long and short of it is, if you add inner blocks, there's two ways you can do it. You can add inner blocks this way, and there's another way that you can actually do it. Is you can. That's not the right page. You can also register a pattern, I believe. So you can register your own pattern with the core query and then your variation name in the name of the pattern, and that's how that will work. And then you get into the whole extending the actual query part. There's a lot going on there where you want to add more controls. You can do it through here, and the query stuff. I'm not going to get into all this because this is I pretty heavily covered this in most of my advanced query loop, like when we were building that out. It's all in there. This is where I got most of the inspiration for it. Speaking of advanced query loop, I just released a new version of it, version 1.5, well, 0.12, because there was so 1.5, there's now slot fill. So you can now extend this plugin to do whatever you want. You can add your own controls to it, and you should have all the filters that you need to be able to like add custom controls via another plugin that will interface with this thing. And then the 0.1, I realized I missed a option for the meta compare. There was like so I had not exists, but I didn't have exists, and that was why it didn't work, or why it wasn't there. So I don't know what's happening here. This might be the right time to shut her down. I'm gonna say goodbye to you all, and have a great weekend. I'll see you next week. Bye everyone. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe for more content on WordPress development. You can also join me live every Thursday at 10:30 Eastern on Twitch. Check the description for the link.